welcome to the Azuki TCG tutorial video. I'm the Eggman, and I've got some quick start guide help for you guys if you guys are jumping into the game. There's also a pamphlet that comes with your starter deck if you guys want to see more information, goes into details on some more specific rulings and keywords, but I think this is a good way for anyone interested on how to play or what the game looks like. So let's go to the basic card types. Alright, to set up playing, let's kind of go over some important cards that represent the game and your deck and just how to play the game in general. And probably the most important one is your leader. It represents not only what your deck is doing, but it is important for your deck construction. Every leader has an element to represent itself, and so when you do your deck building, you have to either match that element or have a neutral card for it too. So also has generally some effects, some HPs, and we'll talk about what that means in a little bit. Probably the second most important card is the gate, and these are kind of used to kind of signify what your deck is. So you kind of want to pair up the ones that have the good effects for each other. This also has to match the element for your leader as well. So the Hydromancy Gate is allowed to do so. This is also the way that you are able to put cards from the alley to the garden. And when you do so, you generally get an additional effect. So the Hydromancy Gate lets you get some additional Ikizo back by being able to use that portal from the alley to the garden. So next up, we've got the Ikizo pile. This is kind of the resource deck. We get 10 cards here, and you are able to get them once per turn. You turn them sideways to pay for cost. Pretty standard for most card games on how kind of resources work, so nothing too outrageous for this game. And then lastly, we do have your deck. It is 50 cards. Again, it does have to match all of the element of your leader are neutral cards to construct that. So those are kind of like the basic setup parts for this, and let's go into some individual cards. Let's first understand the cards a bit more. The category of cards can be shown on the top right corner, whether it be leader, gate, weapon, entity, or spell. To start with leader cards, they have health as denoted in the bottom right. When your health goes down to 0, you lose the game, so make sure to keep track of it. Leaders also don't have any inherent attack associated with them, but there are ways to give it attack throughout the game. For example, the other leader we're showing off today, Ryzen, has a weapons-based deck which has ways to attach weapons to Ryzen and give that additional attack. The other cards are gates, so we've got the Hydromancy Gate as well as the Surge Gate. Both of these are being able to let you put your cards from your alley to your garden. They also have effects that are based off the gate power of your entities that you're moving between the two of them, but also just kind of have an identity through the deck. They don't have any HP, they don't have any attack power either. They don't really have any stats. They're just kind of things that stay on the board throughout the game and help you identify the deck. So looking at our first entity though, we've got the Hayabusa Ito. They have a cost in the top left as well as gate power on the top left right underneath it. These kind of have base effects on moving it from the alley to the garden with the gate effect there too. They have HP, they have attack, and some additional effects which we'll go over in a little bit. We also have spell cards. Spell cards have a cost associated with them, and generally their effects have a response or a timing that goes with what the effect is. We'll go over a little bit those more in the future, but these don't stay on the board. They're kind of one-time activations, and they go to the discard pile afterwards. And then we also have weapons. Weapons are a little bit more unique. I think they're kind of based on decks that use weapons, but these are ways to get kind of these one-time effects or kind of attack boost. At the end of the turn, all weapons attached go to the discard pile, but there are ways to kind of recycle them later. So those are the basic cards, and let's go through the game board in general. To start the game, place your leader and gate face up on the field. Your leader should be in the front row here, adjacent to the garden, while the gate should be kind of in the back row, adjacent to the alley. You put your 10 Ikizo cards face down in the bottom left. You put your shuffle deck in the bottom of your playmat underneath your gate. And then lastly, make sure to have a way to denote how much health you have left. So we're going to use this D20 in the top right there. To start the game, draw 7. You want to look for a good spread of cards with various costs. You may mulligan if you don't like your starting hand by placing your cards on the bottom of your deck, drawing the next 7, and then shuffling your deck again. To start the match, if you're going first, you do not draw a card. You gain 1 Ikizo from your Ikizo pile, so you have 1 to spend during this turn. You may play entity cards in either the garden or the alley. Cards in the alley can be portaled into the garden by tapping your gate. You can do this on the same turn you play the cards in the alley, and when you portal, you may activate the gate effect and then gate the scales based off the gate power of the entity being portaled. For example, I'm going to play Hayabusa Saburo into my alley. I am going to be able to now use my gate to portal him into the garden. And when I do so, it's going to look at the one gate power that it has. So with the Hydromancy gate, I get to untap my Ikizo based off the gate power. So I get that one Ikizo back, and I can use it again later this turn. Keep in mind that you can only tap your gate once per turn. So if you have multiple entities in your alley, you can only portal them one at a time each turn. Also, whether you play cards directly into your garden or portal them from your alley, entities that enter the garden will have cooldown on the turn that they enter. That means they cannot be tapped to attack or use their abilities. So for example, my Hayabusa that I was able to portal into the garden cannot attack this turn. I can also play this Ray with this additional Ikizo that I have open, and even if it was directly played into the garden, both of these cards have cooldown right now. There is a way to get around cooldown. If you play a card with charge, it can attack or tap itself for its ability the turn it's played. Also, leaders do not have cooldown, so they can attack whenever they have attack power. After you finish your turn, you pass to your opponent. Your opponent will draw one card and gain one Ikizo. Also note that the player going second will additionally gain an Ikizo token on their first turn. Ikizo tokens can be used like regular Ikizo, but once you use it, it does go away. So you can use it for something usually above curve to kind of balance out going first or second. Your opponent can then take their turn playing cards and attacking you as well. And then every turn afterwards, each player will draw one card per turn and gain one Ikizo per turn until they hit their max of 10 Ikizo. To initiate combat, you can tap your untapped leader or one of your entities in your garden to attack your opponent's leader or tapped entities in their garden. You cannot attack untapped entities in their garden or entities at all in their alleys. For example, I want to attack my Bubblemancer into my opponent's Haruhi, so I will tap it and target my opponent's Haruhi over there. We do damage simultaneous, so I take 1 damage from my opponent's Haruhi, and my opponent's Haruhi takes 2 damage and does get destroyed. Additionally, if I attack my Azuki into my opponent's Ryzen, we compare the values, and both of our HPs go down to 0, so both of them are destroyed. Additionally, you can attack in any order that you want. So for example, I'm going to attack my Aya into my opponent's Yamada here. We get to do damage to each other. So I get my Aya destroyed. It takes 1 damage to the Yamada. I'm going to attack with my Saburo here, and getting 2 damage for the turn means that that will be destroyed at the end of that second combat. Lastly, I can always attack into my opponent's leader, whether it's tapped or not. So I can attack with my Ray to deal 1 damage to the Ryzen. Damage across leaders are universal. They do not heal at the end of the turn. But if I pass my turn here, all damage on any of my entities goes away. By default, leaders cannot attack because they don't have any attack power, but if you do have ways to give them attack power, such as equipping a weapon, they have the same attacking and combat mechanics as entities. So for example, this Ryzen can attack into one of my entities and the math is the same. So attacking into the Bubblemancer, we do 2 damage to each other, so the Bubblemancer gets destroyed, and you do get 2 damage on your leader, and again, that is permanent damage. And that's basically how the game works. It goes back and forth until one of us is able to put our opponent's HP down to 0. So I'm going to attack with Azuki here. I'm going to go 3 damage into Ryzen, which only has 3 HP left. And if it connects, we win the game. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys got a little bit of a taste of what the Azuki card game is all about. This card game is coming out soon, and if you guys want more of an update on a more firm release date, some new cards that they're revealing or anything else, make sure to follow them on their socials, on their website, or on their Twitter. And if you guys have any additional questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.